Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, would you be mad if you found out your partner used AI to write their wedding vows? Also, is America ready for an all-new type of French fry? All that and more on the way next. It is the Hudson Show from RadioU. Welcome to the part of the show that's just for you and me. Yeah, nobody on the radio got to hear this. Lucky you. What should we start with? Well, did you know it's been dubbed Hot Rodent Summer this year? What makes it Hot Rodent Summer? Well, it's all the sexy actors that also seem to share features with rodents. I mean, let me go down this list, see if you picture them in your mind to see if you agree. Kieran Culkin, Barry Cogan, Glenn Powell, Timothy Chalamet, Jeremy Allen White, Mike Faced, Josh O'Connor are all being compared to rodents. They have rodent-like features, according to many. And of course, they're undeniably hot. To me, I do start to wonder that if you start looking for rodent features in a hot man, if you can't find rodent features in just about every hot man, is what that's kind of my take on this. But I'll tell you what, though, unfortunately for me, I'm the exception. You look for rodent features on me. I'm not rodent-like. So I guess this isn't just the summer for me, although I am undeniably hot. A Major League Baseball player has been suspended for life. His name, he's got a great name. Tucupita Marcano. And with a name like that, you'd think if you'd heard it before, you would have remembered it. Yeah, he wasn't a very, a big star in the MLB. Although he has played for several seasons, mostly with the Pirates. He had like a .217 batting average. And even that is better than his average when it came to the bets he was making. He was suspended for life from the MLB yesterday for gambling on Major League Baseball games over the course of October 2022 through July 2023 or November 2023. So basically a year. He spent more than $150,000 betting on baseball, an average of about $378 per bet. He did a lot of parlays, but here's the worst thing. He won about 4% of his MLB bets. He was horrible at betting. Absolutely. He was losing money left and right, even with, you would presume, some kind of inside information from, actually being an MLB baseball player. He still was only hitting 4% of his bets. So now the bad news for him is that he is kicked out of Major League Baseball. He'll never play in the MLB again. But I guess the good news for him is now he can bet all he wants. And on top of that, he's been on a bad losing streak. He's due, right? We are in the midst of useless knowledge. Your useless knowledge today revolves around hot air balloons since it is Hot Air Balloon Day. The question is, the first hot air balloon flight that carried a living being actually carried 3 animals. What were any of those 3 animals? Name one. Lots of good guesses coming in. We saw dog, parakeet, pig, guinea pig, hedgehog, and a yeti, which is a great guess. But of course, all of those are incorrect. The correct answer, which some people did and many people got at least one of these, the correct answer is sheep, rooster, and duck were the first 3 creatures that took part in a hot air balloon flight. This was in the 18th century in France, and it was conducted by a couple of French brothers, very similar, I guess, to the Wright brothers, except they were working on launching hot air balloons. What I'm curious about is how are they able to get these 3, a sheep, a rooster, and a duck, how are they able to corral them and keep them in a hot air balloon basket long enough for a hot air balloon flight? And while the French did manage to have the first manned hot air balloon flight, do you care that hot air balloon technology traced all the way back to China, possibly as early as the 3rd century BC? Which just further bolsters my argument that the Ohio is not the birthplace of aviation. Hot air balloons are aviation too. Hello. If you're a Harry Potter fan, listen up. Coming up on June 8th, you could tour the Alnwick Castle. The Alnwick Castle was used as a filming location for Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in 2 of the Harry Potter films. On June 8th, you'll be able to tour it without any clothes on. Yes, for the first time ever, nude Harry Potter fans are offered the opportunity to tour the location of the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in the UK. Congratulations. You found a way to make Harry Potter even worse to me, because the only thing that I care about and want to be around less than wizards is naked wizards. Isn't it wild that in so many areas of business nowadays, the best business model, the best practice you can do is basically get as close to the line as getting people chemically addicted to your product as you can without technically actually getting them addicted. I'm talking like everything from social media to games on your phone to Doritos. It's actually what they try to do is make it so good that you want to keep coming back, but not quite satisfying enough, not good enough to ever make you feel full, to ever make you feel satisfied. That way you just have to keep coming back to it over and over and over again. The world is filled with things like that, and it's not just companies that are trying to get you hooked. It's a lot of our goals and ambitions as well wind up being carrots on a stick. That's a horrible example. Carrot? Who wants a carrot? They wind up being Twinkies on a stick in front of you that you're trying to chase that you can never quite get to, and you never wind up feeling fully satisfied. If you feel like you're living in a world like that right now, I want to let you know that there is one thing that can satisfy you, one individual that can teach you how to be satisfied with what you have, with where you are right now, and that's God. That's one of the main things that Jesus wants you to know and wants to help you learn, because it's tough, especially in today's day and age, to be satisfied with what we have when there's always something else out there that seems bigger and better if we could just get to it. God wants to teach you, hey, yes, you can still have ambition, still hope for the future in life, but you can also make today okay, make you happy with what you have and where you are right now. If you want to experience that, start talking to God and let him show you and let him teach you how that actually works. We're doing Would You Rather Wednesday. Today's question from Isaac. Would you rather spend a year living in an RV or a boat? 8772 RadioU if you want to chime in with your thoughts. Guy says RV because a boat would be much more expensive to live out of. Well, that's very practical of you, Guy. Danielle says a boat would be too much work, so RV. Yet again, very practical. I like the way we're thinking, just realistically. Living out in an RV seems easier. Susanna says, seeing as how water is terrifying, RV all day, every day. Michael just simply says RV. Colin says boat. I've pretty much driven all over the country, so getting to sail for a year will be a new adventure. All right, you've driven all over the country. Humble brag, I guess. Regina says RV. Not sure how I do in the water for long periods of time, and generally it's quicker to travel by land. True. And then Kim says living in an RV would be better for me. Too much anxiety if I was out on the water for that long. Who knew we had so much fear of water here on the Hudson Show? I'm afraid of the ocean. I'm not afraid of the beach. I'm not afraid of the shore. So I think if I can be in a boat that can be like docked, a houseboat. I don't know really what houseboats, is that a thing that exists outside of PB&J Otter? I'm not sure, but I'd like to give it a try. And I like the idea of the adventure. Also, RV, yeah, it's easier to travel by land and it'd be less expensive, whatever. But I mean, in this hypothetical, the RV, you're like, if you're thinking, oh, it's practical, then what's your excuse for getting out of work? Because if I have a boat, I'll be like, sorry, I can't come to work today or for the next year. I'm living in a boat. I think that could get me out of it. I could at least work from home, my home boat. The debate around leaving your shopping cart just randomly throughout the parking lot has been reinvigorated thanks to a woman in L.A. who is a clinical and a forensic psychologist. She's also a mom, and she says, as a mom, I am not loading all my groceries into the car, then loading my kids into the car, and then leaving them alone while I go take my cart back to the corral. So you can leave the dirty looks behind. I don't care. So the question is, does she actually have a point? Numerous people getting in here at 8772 RadioU saying, how about just park next to the cart return? If only it was that easy. But I mean, oftentimes you should be able to do that. Also, I like what Susanna says. She does have a point, but yeah, again, plan ahead. We'll look for the cart corral, and just return your cart like a civilized person. And then Regina got in saying selfish. You lock the car with your keys and quickly walk back, keeping the car in sight, because obviously leaving carts everywhere gets in the way and they can start rolling away, damaging cars, whatever. Regina's right. Realistically, how long does it actually take for you to walk? How far away are you parking from the cart corral that you can't keep your car inside? Make sure no funny business is going on over there. But I have another take. I'm a solutions-oriented guy. I've got two thoughts. One, again, not a mom. I don't know how many kids this woman has, but if you can parade your entire clan of children throughout the entire grocery store without issues, can't they just walk with you from your car to the cart corral and then walk back with you and then get in the car? Then you have them all near you, all safe and sound. Or even better, if you got that many kids, like train one, send one over and once they get old enough, then the problem solves itself. I feel like I understand you don't want to put anybody in harm's way, but you are doing by leaving your carts randomly, by the way. But I feel like we're getting a lot of excuse about somebody that at the end of the day, I feel like she just doesn't really want to walk all the way to the cart corral. We call this Fired or Hired on the Hudson Show. You can chime in at 8772 RadioU. If you've ever had a workplace dilemma you need some help with, any drama at the office, we're happy to help here on the Hudson Show. This one comes to us from a woman who says, a few days ago, I woke up with a stuffy nose, sore throat, and sinus pressure. I had an important meeting, though. This is a good employee, so I wanted to try to push through. I took some sinus meds, hopped in the shower, hoping the steam would clear everything up. But after getting out of the shower, I'll spare you the details. But she says things got worse. So at that point is when I decided to call into work, call off sick, and texted in around 7 a.m. letting them know that I was going to be out. The meeting that we spoke of earlier, that was supposed to be at 10. At that point, I went to bed, 7 a.m. after I'd called in. I wake up at 1:30 and had missed several calls and messages from the office of questions they were trying to ask me during the meeting that they eventually wound up figuring out the answers to, but without me involved. And they said that I need to follow up once I was able to come into the office. But here's where it gets tricky. A couple days later, I went to apologize to my boss, but my boss said, sick is sick, but naps need to wait until after you've gotten me everything I need for the meeting. So basically the question is, what is the right protocol here? Was I really supposed to stay awake until the meeting was actually running? What do you do? Is the boss within his bounds to make these kind of requests? 8772 RadioU. Sick day expectations is basically what this comes down to. If you're sick, what do you still owe the office even when you're home? We'll start with Ben, who actually seems to be a supervisor, we'll say. Ben says, once an employee notifies me they are sick and taking the day off, they're off the clock. I can't reasonably expect a sick person to be available at my whim. That feels pretty reasonable from Ben. We also heard from Regina, who says the expectation should have been communicated beforehand. If you call out, they really shouldn't be contacting you for anything unless they said, hey, we really need you to be on hand for this. Can you please be on call? I think that's where I'm at too. The boss can't be upset after the fact, but if he had said at 7 a.m., hey, can you get me this stuff for the meeting? Even if you're sick, are you well enough to do this? Even if you're staying home, I feel like that could have been the solution that was reached, but clearly that was not the case. Jamie says, if I'm sick, I don't go in. I don't want to be responsible for other people getting sick. And if there's work that I can do at home, then let me have it. I will absolutely do it. I'm with you, Jamie. It's more that I don't want to use up my sick hours that I'll work from home than that I actually want to work if I've called off sick. But nevertheless, having that good work ethic, I think it sounds like even this person that we're talking about here has that. It's just they were actually legitimately too sick to get anything done since they passed out asleep after trying to get up and go to work. Katie coming in a little hot here. She says, stop apologizing. If you feel you must say sorry for it, you say it once. That was a very Canadian sorry from me. Definitely don't say it again after returning to work. It just reinforces your boss's beliefs that the job should be an employee's number one priority, and anyone who fails at that needs to seek forgiveness. Yes, I kind of love that. from Katie, actually. Susanna says it would depend on the nature, severity of the sickness, but I'm on the boss's side. Still need to meet your responsibilities unless you're super unable to. And Arthur says, yeah, all on the boss unless expectations were set beforehand. What I don't know is she says she let them know at 7 a.m. I don't know if she got confirmation or anything, but I mean, sick days are sick days. How long is she supposed to stay awake and hold on? And how can there be an assessment after the fact? Well, I mean, you were sick, but you weren't so sick that you couldn't have sent us this stuff in an email. Like, if you're sick, that's it. I don't know if there shouldn't be a lot of gray area on sick days. If you're out, you're out. While an overwhelming majority of Americans seem to be happy with the numerous French fry varieties that are currently available to them, it also seems that an overwhelming majority will be willing to entertain the idea of using a brand new type of fry, which is great news for Sonic, because this week they are putting out a brand new type of fry. They call them groovy fries. What makes them groovy? Well, they're similar to crinkle cut fries, but with deep grooves that the chain says is ideal for dipping in sauce. So if you want to give these a shot, if you're open-minded to the idea of a brand new type of French fry, Sonic is offering any size order of the new fries for $1 throughout this month. And it says while supplies last. Like they just unveiled this brand new style of fries. They're going to run out. In addition to the new fries, they also have a new sauce they call Groovy Sauce, which is a creamy blend of savory ranch and herbs with a mild kick of sriracha. I'm open to the idea. I'm always up for fries that are good for dipping. What I'm concerned with is, these ridges, these deep grooves may be great for gathering, accumulating the sauce on there, but two questions. One, are you going to give me enough sauce, since these are going to accumulate more than the standard French fry you may be accustomed to? And two, are these going to be flimsy? What if the deep grooves make these kind of a little wobbly, a little flimsy? And then that really defeats the whole purpose there, doesn't it? But nevertheless, I, like many Americans, open-minded to the idea of a new style of French fries. So for $1, got to give these a shot. If you try them, let me know what you think at 8772 RadioU. Leave it to the Lakers on the very first day of the NBA Finals, even though they have been eliminated long ago, to still be making the top headline in the NBA. It was reported by Adrian Wojnarowski earlier this morning that the Lakers, in their search for a head coach, are targeting Dan Hurley, the current coach of UConn men's basketball. Talks are expected to escalate in the coming days. They are preparing a massive long-term offer. Everybody thought they were going after J.J. Redick all this time, but I think Dan Hurley is a much better option because, one, he's actually coached somewhere before, but two, he's got UConn rolling. Some might say, it's because he's been great at recruiting, and he has, but he also, if you look at like the analytics stuff, he's been very progressive, and I think that will translate to the NBA. Now, how can he manage all those big personalities? Can he get a LeBron under control there and Anthony Davis? And I mean, you can't coach Anthony Davis to be healthy. So it's not like it's guaranteed to work, but I think it's a smart move by the Lakers. NayNay is here with me.
Hello.
NayNay, you know the football season's coming, right?
I mean, we'll go a few months out, but I definitely...
let me check on Kelly in Vegas' Twitter. 78 days until football
78
returns.
Days and 13 hours, 24 minutes, and 17, 16, 15 seconds. I'm not keeping track.
Not that we're counting. So this is prime time to start preparing for your fantasy football league, right?
Yeah! I'm in so many leagues this year. I mean, I'm always in so many leagues, to be honest with you. But this time I'm coming for the crown. I don't think I've won a title since 2020. So it's been like 4 years. So I need to go back and remind people who they're really up against.
Let me ask you this. What would fantasy football have to cost you? And I don't just mean monetarily. I just mean in life for you to decide I'm going to give it up.
Well, I'm debt-free now, so realistically, I don't think the monetary value would stop.
You can join some high-limit leagues.
I mean, I think the thing that would stop me from doing fantasy football is I would have to go blind.
That's the only thing.
I mean,
if it caused you to go blind, you would say no more.
Well, no, like if I'm blind and I can't see like the screen that I'm looking at to choose my players, okay, then I'd be like, all right, I'm done with fantasy football.
See, I'm pretty close to blind, and I don't think that would stop me. I feel like that'd be a thing I could still enjoy more.
Shall I bring up your record from last year's fantasy football?
I don't even remember. But the reason I bring this up is because Matt Strahm, he's actually a baseball player for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh.
He's had a really good season.
I don't like anything from Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, I guess not. He decided to give up fantasy football recently. And the reason why is because there's one other thing he loves. And that's deer hunting.
I was about to say, it should be baseball, but okay.
And so one of the recent football season, he was out deer hunting, tracking a deer for 60 hours. But then he realized he needed to set his fantasy football lineup. And so he looked at his phone to submit the lineup. And while he was looking at his phone to set his lineup, the deer got away and he never was seen again.
No.
So 60 hours wasted.
Okay.
And so now he's not doing fantasy anymore.
You know, that's justifiable. I thought you were going to tell me he was going to start picking up something like a cooking show or something. And he was going to be like, I'm done with fantasy football. Now I'm going to take up the culinary arts.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's fine. If you want to go do that, do that. But listen, that's a pretty noble thing. Deer hunting.
Yeah.
I used to go do that back in Texas with like my family, like my dad, my granddad and stuff. Only like once or twice though. I wasn't really like that.
Did you ever shoot one? Or?
No, I never shot one.
Did you ever eat one?
No, I never ate one. We just wanted to shoot them for game.
For sport.
For sport. Like my granddad had like this giant piece of land and he had like a bunch of different places we could go up in like the trees and like look out for deer. And so we'd get donuts and stuff. He'd give me the binoculars. I'd be like, oh, look, there's a deer. And he'd be like, shut up, NayNay. You're not supposed to talk. And I'd be like, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. What else am I supposed to do? And he said, eat this donut, NayNay. That's what you're supposed to do.
And this is why you wound up here.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting move from TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods, where they are now going to start having some of their employees wear body cameras similar to the cameras that police would wear when they're out on duty. TJ Maxx, the company that owns all of these stores, says they want to use these to de-escalate incidents, deter crime, and demonstrate to our associates and customers that we take safety in our stores seriously. They say it's only going to be specially trained loss prevention employees, not every employee in the store. So the whole idea is they just want to make people less likely to steal stuff, or if they do try to steal, more likely to get caught. I thought it was at first when we're talking about like if everybody's going to be wearing them, it's only fair. Customers can get out their phone and start recording employees at any time. The employees should be able to do the same without getting their phones out at work. But this is really just to prevent shoplifting. The chief financial officer of TJX said it's almost like a de-escalation where people are less likely to do something when they know they're being videotaped. I don't know about that, TJX CFO. Have you looked at TikTok, YouTube, Instagram lately? Police body cam footage. It doesn't seem to slow anybody down. Get your popcorn ready. It's the weekend watch list on the Hudson Show, one of my very favorite times of the week. And I mean that. We let you know what you could be watching that's new in theaters and at home this weekend. An interesting slate of new movies for you. We'll get started with a bit of a trip back in time, a nostalgia trip, some would say, and that's Bad Boys Ride or Die, which is now in theaters, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, of course. When their late police captain gets linked to drug cartels, wisecracking Miami cops, Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett embark on a dangerous mission to clear his name. 66%, that one's getting from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, although the fans love it. The audience, 98% so far. Waneil Ma of The Nightly says there are few surprises with Bad Boys Ride or Die. You know what you've signed up to, and it's more or less what you get. Well, if you're seeing a sequel, what is it, the third, fourth Bad Boys movie? You don't want to be taken by surprise. You just want to ride or die with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. What about this one? The Watchers, now in theaters. A 28-year-old artist gets stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland. Finding shelter, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside 3 strangers who are stalked by mysterious creatures every night. This has a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics do not like it, although they do like the director, which I'm going to mispronounce her name. It's something Shyamalan, but not M. Night. Here's one from Benjamin Lee of The Guardian. He says, any of the suspense or dread this film might have built up, of which there could have been a truckload more, turns to mush when the horror turns hokey. I think it sounds like bright things ahead for this director, but The Watchers may be skippable. Finally, this one may be the best option, at least according to the critics, it is Hitman, which is now on Netflix. Professional killer Gary Johnson breaks protocol to help a desperate woman trying to flee an abusive husband and finds himself falling for her. That has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Natalie Keegan of AV Club says a slick, sexy comedy noir that will actually get at-home viewers to engage with media outside of the dreaded algorithm. I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds good. So maybe Hitman, if you have a Netflix subscription, could be worth a watch. Also on Netflix this week, Godzilla -1, which is absolutely the thing I'm most likely to watch. Let me know what you watched this weekend. Anything good? Anything bad? 8772 RadioU. That's your weekend watch list. We'll see you at the movies. As Ozempic and Wegovy and other similar weight loss drugs continue to expand in popularity, it seems that Nestle is the first company coming out with food marketed specifically to people on these weight loss drugs. They've got a new line of frozen meals coming out that they say are meant for those who are taking weight loss drugs. The idea is that they are smaller portions to fit your appetite, but also have more protein, iron, calcium, and other nutrients so that you can still make sure you're getting their proper nutrition, even if you're eating less. Isn't this wild that they finally now decided, hey, maybe we should put some nutrients in our food? And, oh, what if we do this? What if we sell a smaller portion size at the exact same price as the bigger portion size? This is actually genius from Nestle. It is time for a food fight with NayNay. NayNay, welcome back.
Hello, thank you. I'm glad to be back here on the show, waking up early morning. I'm holding a cookie in my hand, and it's an Oreo cookie. How is this any different from a food fight? I feel like this is a happy food fight.
Well, you might be in for a rude awakening, but of course I cannot tell you what is different. And this will actually be a really interesting one for you to guess what this is, this new product from Oreo, what it is, based off of taste alone.
It looks like confetti cake.
It's colorful on the inside and the interior.
Hang on, do I open it up?
Does it actually smell really good?
Yeah,
sure. I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's fine. It has
It does not smell like what I think the product that it is, but it does smell like, I would say, like Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles, and I love Fruity Pebbles, but it's not Fruity Pebbles.
I like how you got the vanilla wafer cookies. I don't like the chocolate ones as much, like the originals. Yeah. It's crazy, but I just prefer these a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into this, and we'll see what it's all about.
You taste it first. Oh no! Dropped cookie on the ground.
Chris is gonna have your head.
That's weird. That is weird.
It's like a zesty, tangy flavor.
I can't say I hate it though. I cannot say that I hate this.
All right, what is it?
You can't guess what it is?
No, I can't guess it. I have absolutely no clue. It's not bad though.
What you have over there is the all new Sour Patch Kids Oreos.
Yo, no way.
Yeah.
I love Sour Patch Kids.
I like Sour Patch Kids too. My problem with them is they're not sour enough. That's why I like Warheads better.
I still don't taste the Sour Patch Kid as much. I feel like it's just like a sweet, zesty flavor. Okay, maybe the aftertaste a little bit. But honestly, if you hadn't told me, I still would never have been able to guess it.
It's definitely not anywhere near as sour as a Sour Patch Kid, which may be a smart move because that would be weird to have that in a cookie. But it kind of has the flavor like of a cherry Sour Patch Kid.
Hey, yo, pass me another one of those.
Yeah, you want one?
Yeah, I'll take it. Hey, guys.
Hey, we finally found something.
I know. We found something I'm not whining and complaining about all the time. Wow.
I'm going to get another one, too, because I always like to do with Oreos. Split them apart and try the inside on its own. And see what that's like.
Sounds like cheating.
No, I apologize to everybody for talking with my mouth full, but I am on the radio.
I'm on the radio, so I can talk with my mouth full.
What else am I supposed to do?
Look at them intently. Granted, I guess the people that are just listening on RadioU wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but it's fine. It's fun. Okay, so now what do you think about it now that you've tried it without the cookies and it's just the icing in the middle?
Ooh, the cookie takes away it takes the edge off some of the sourness that you get if you just only eat the cream filling.
Is it that sour?
It's not like sour, but it's a little sour.
Does it make you pucker up? It's like
a little bit. I think I like it as a whole. I like it all together better. This would be weird too. You know, what it didn't do is get milk, which is always a staple with Oreos, but I don't think these would benefit much from milk. That'd be a real weird combo. Nobody wants sour milk.
That's good. I like that.
I thought these were going to be nasty. I think when you eat it as it's meant to be eaten, I think these are like a thumbs up, like worth eating. They're good.
You know, I'd bring these to the cookout. I just have to get invited to a cookout now.
Love them or leave them on the Hudson Show. If you've ever got a relationship issue trying to navigate the windy turnpike of love, the Hudson Show is here to help. You can let us know at 8772-RadioU. Today we got a dilemma that involves AI. Although fortunately it doesn't involve someone falling in love with AI. Instead, we have a woman who says, my husband and I just got married a few months ago, but we've been together for 8 years. We opted to have a small wedding, and it was a very beautiful ceremony with just our close family and friends. When my husband read his vows, I remember thinking that it sounded very formal and not at all like how he usually speaks. You can tell where this is going, right? I chalked that up to him taking the time to think out his vows and make them sound the best he could. They were really nice and made me cry, and everyone else seemed to think so too. Fast forward to now. I went on our shared GPT account to cancel our membership since we don't need it anymore. Since you're already married, I happened to see something titled vows and clicked on it. Lo and behold, there it was. His vows, 100% verbatim. I saw the prompt he provided, and it had all of the major themes that were in the vows, but he literally just copy-pasted the generated text and read it like it was his own words. I remember telling him after the ceremony how sweet his vows were, and he said that he meant every word he said. Now I just feel stupid, honestly. On the one hand, I'm really upset about it, but on the other, I don't want to embarrass him or start a fight over it. I'm just really hurt and could use any advice about how to approach this. Lots of people sharing their thoughts, like Catherine, who says, that would bother me. It isn't supposed to be easy. You're supposed to put effort into it on your own, even if it's hard. It's maybe the one time where it matters most, but he opted for efficiency instead. But then you have Susanna, who chimes in saying, tricky, I think I just let it go and trust his I meant every word as what matters. We also heard, oh, this is good. Oscar says, just use AI to write out what you want to say to him. I think that's the way you have to go. I like that. Regina says, I say love them. Vows can be really hard to write and definitely borrow a bit for both our wedding and, she said I definitely borrowed a bit for our wedding and 10-year vows renewal. I say still mention it to him and tell him you don't want to fight, but do let him know how it made you feel. We also heard from Robert, who says, hold him accountable, allow him to apologize, and find a way to make things right. I think too, maybe he wanted to make sure it sounded really good, but you have access to the ChatGPT. You've seen the prompts. What do the prompts say? I feel like the prompts are what really matters here, and clearly they wound up coming up with something pretty good. So the prompts is how he really feels, and he just wanted to make it sound nice. This is definitely not a leave him situation. It might be worth bringing up, though. We had Lewis, who says, use the tools at hand. Would you be upset if you found out he was using a thesaurus instead? It's not all that different. I think that's pretty good. And then one more thought here. This one from Mandy, who says the biggest question you have to ask yourself is this. How is he as a husband now? Does he seem that he's walking the walk and staying true to the vows that he promised you, whether they were written by ChatGPT or not. If he's, some of this, the ChatGPT stuff is smaller than how he's actually treating you and, how your relationship is outside of that. I think that's good. So how do you get ahead in your career? If you're a young person, apparently it's answering the phone. Bosses, hiring managers, increasingly looking for people that are willing to make and answer phone calls, as more and more of us have such anxiety when it comes to talking on the phone. Some hiring managers are finding even that like Gen Z more likely to respond to voice memos than they are to voicemails. Yeah, of course we are, because that's way less awkward. And if your job is going to make me talk to, answer, make phone calls, then that's not a job I want. It's just going to make me uncomfortable. If you want to make me uncomfortable, you can call 8772-RadioU, or better yet, send a voice memo there. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.